Everyone, welcome back. So this is my December haul. Better late than never, as they say. I've been so busy with work and sort of home life. It's the first chance I've had to get to put a video together. But yeah, this is going to be everything I picked up in the month of December. Oh, I think on my last video I did one of these. I said that I had a Criterion coming still from the sale they had over November, December time. And that last one was The Breakfast Club. So I've got this one in a box set, but I wanted to get it on the single edition with the Criterion sort of release. So I picked that one up, and that one came through. The next one I picked up was, again, I'm picking these up slowly with sort of my favourites of these. I saw this one at a horror festival in October time in 4K, and the 4K blew me away. I'd heard it's really good, and yeah, it definitely was. So I thought it's time to upgrade the Burning. Don't think I've shown that one yet on the channel. So yeah, that one came through. That was off eBay, I want to say, probably eBay or Amazon, one of the two. But yeah, that one came through. Had a nice slip on it as well, so it's always a little bit of a bonus. I'll fly through a few of these ones because a lot of people have shown these first few off over the month of sort of November, December time. I'm a little bit on the back foot. So this one was I put this one off for the longest time. I kept umming and ahhing about it, and I saw everyone else picking it up, and eventually I caved in, used a 20% off voucher at HMV and picked up the Slumber Party Massacre box set. So yeah, really nice hard box set as always, with numbers 1 and 2. I've seen the first one, it's pretty good, and then I haven't seen the second one yet, which I've heard is awful, but it might be my kind of awful, so I'll give that a go. So the next one here was another one that I think a lot of people picked up, especially in the horror community, and that is one of my old-time favourites, the Critters box set. So yeah, 1 to 4 in there, plus you got a nice bonus disc, I think it is, in there as well. So yeah, really, I love the artwork on this box set. Yeah, I wish I had more space to put the poster up inside that's this artwork, but yeah, that one, fantastic. Another all-time favourite of mine, and yeah, when Arrow said they were putting it out on the 4K, I pretty much pre-ordered it straight away, and that is Demolition Man in the nice chunky set. So I'm sure everyone's seen these. They've been picked up, like I say, by loads of people in the community. But yeah, nice slipcover over it. That's the 4K edition of Demolition Man. So yeah, those were the ones that I think a lot of channels have picked up and sort of shown off already, so skim through those quite quick. So the next batch were from Amazon, and these were either on a good deal or I got gifted them from Christmas time, so I'm off my Amazon wish list. So the first one here, I'll give a sort of channel a shout out. I'm pretty sure I shouted them out on the community page where December time, November time, I can't remember now. But yeah, I picked this film up based on another channel. So yeah, this channel it's quite new to me. I think it's been around a little while now, but it's Jodie at I think it's Jodie's Movie Place. I forget the name now, but I'll link it in the description and put a little picture up there. But yeah, Jodie, I really like watching Jodie's videos. She's got a real good interest in the 70s movies, which is a bit of a sort of like grey area for me. I mean, I know quite a few 70s movies, but I think Jodie's got a much more in-depth knowledge of 70s movies, so it's really interesting to hear her talk about the favourites. But yeah, so I picked up a few movies based on watching Jodie's videos, and you know, how she's explaining about what she likes about these types of film. So the film that I picked up based off of watching one of Jodie's videos is Straight Time. So this is on the Warner Archive collection, and yeah, I really like these Warner Archive collection ones. But yeah, I watched this one. I thought it was really good. I think Stuart George picked it up as well and did a little bit of a kind of description of it the other day. But yeah, really good, this film. Dustin Hoffman obviously in there. I'd never seen it before, but yeah, thought I'd pick that one up. The next ones I picked up, well, these were all now pretty much gifts from Christmas time off the Amazon wish list, and they're all off the Warner Archive collection titles. They're just ones, I didn't pick them up. I didn't pick up all of them. I didn't put all of them on the list because there's a few on there I looked up and they don't sound like my cup of tea. But these ones basically sound like they could tick a box for me. So this one, based on the cast alone, Bill Murray, Gina Davis, Randy Quaid, Jason Roberts. You've got Quick Change, so I've never seen it, still haven't watched it as yet. I've done quite well this December. Pretty much most of the titles I've got here I've actually sat down and watched, which is quite proud of. Yeah, so yeah, don't know much about this one to tell you much, but that was on the Warner Archive, and I thought I'd give it a go. Very same story really with this one as well. Prince of the City. So yeah, I don't know much about this one apart from I guess it's quite a long thriller. But yeah, it looks really good. So I thought I'd throw that in the mix. This one I watched, excuse me, this one I watched I think over Christmas time, either Christmas Eve or Christmas Day, like one time when everyone else was still asleep in bed. Really nice, short, kind of like comedy movie, a bit bizarre, and that is One Crazy Summer. So yeah, I didn't realise the cast in this one. I picked it up necessarily. I knew John Cusack was in it. Didn't realise that Demi Moore was in it. I've been trying to go over Demi Moore's kind of like back catalogue since watching The Substance and being my favourite movie of last year. And also Bobcat. Excuse me, I got a dry throat. Yeah, also Bobcat, who's, if you know Bobcat, he's the guy, I'll try and find a picture and put it in, the guy from, I know him best from Police Academy growing up, who just kind of screams and shouts as he talks all the time. Yeah, really funny. It doesn't break that character through this movie. Yeah, really good kind of like, you know, of its time comedy. I had a good time with this one. It's only about an hour and a half long. Yeah, really enjoyed that one. Just dropped them all. So the next lot I picked off of Amazon. So this one was going on a pretty good deal on Amazon, I think for $9.99, obviously delivered with Prime. And that is a 4K upgrade for me of Training Day. So yeah, I've watched this film quite a few times over the years, really enjoy it, and a really good thriller. But yeah, thought I'd pick that up on the $9.99 deal. Then I hopped over to Amazon Germany and picked up, I think they had a 3 for 15 or 18, something like that, it worked out, delivered. So I saw Arrow were releasing this one, and I thought I'd want to check it out. It's a Sam Raimi movie. Again, good cast. You got Bill Paxton, Billy Bob Thornton, Bridget Fonda. That is, I think it's a Simple Plan, it translates over to. Yeah, but again, I've watched this one, had a really good time with this one. I know, again, a lot of people have been mentioning this one either by picking up this version or importing in the Arrow. But yeah, essentially, a few fellas find a whole load of money in a crashed plane in the snow, and they then decide what to do with it. So I won't, you know, spoil too much from that. But yeah, it really goes off into quite a good, you know, thriller, a bit of a tension builder there with a bit of suspense. But yeah, I really enjoyed that one. Really good this time of year with all the snow and ice around. This next one, again, Brad Pitt, Anthony Hopkins, good cast for me in there, and that is Meet Joe Black. I know you can get a UK version of this, but I think it's quite pricey. This one obviously worked out around a £5 on that deal from Amazon. I couldn't remember if I'd seen this before. I don't think I had, or if I had, it was so long I couldn't remember. But yeah, I really enjoyed this one. It's sort of about Meet Joe Black. So Brad Pitt sort of plays death. Sounds a bit weird, but he plays his character kind of like who symbolises death, who comes to visit Anthony Hopkins' character. Anthony Hopkins is kind of like this fairly high-powered, you know, businessman who's got all this company and all these people working for him, and death is literally just following around, waiting for him, trying to experience a bit of human life. But yeah, really good. I enjoyed that one a lot more than I expected to, so that one will be staying in the collection for sure. So going back to my previous statement about going back over Demi Moore's sort of previous history, I picked up Disclosure, I think this one converts over to. I hadn't seen this one before, sort of one of those early 90s, I think it is, kind of like, you know, erotic thriller types. Obviously Michael Douglas in there. I didn't mind this one. I think I was hoping for more. It's not bad by any means, but it just didn't quite get to the heights that I was hoping it was going to. But yeah, it wasn't too bad, and yeah, I'll keep it in the collection, but I was expecting a little bit more from it. So the next batch I picked up a couple of DVDs, which is very rare for me, but I saw them at a charity shop for 50p each, and I thought, yeah, I'm going to go for those because they were kind of like sitting on my list to pick up in a CEX if I ever went past one that had one in. But these worked out a lot cheaper in the charity shop anyway. So a movie I'd seen years ago, and I keep wanting to go back to it. It's just a feel-good kind of like comedy drama type movie. Now another sort of semi shout out here is going to be to Ollie's movies. So again, Ollie, I think I've shouted out in the past, but I know Ollie this year is making a big sort of push to try and do a lot more videos on his channel. So, you know, hopefully that goes really well for him. I know I've been watching all of his latest content. He's going through doing his watch pile. Really nice guy. He's got a real passion for like I want to say, you know, what I enjoy about his channel is I enjoy that he really likes like drama movies, almost like sort of emotional movies as well. And I like a lot of the movies that he's recommending and that he watches, so I get a lot from that from Ollie's channel. So yeah, if you're into that kind of thing, highly recommend you go check out Ollie's channel as well. Ollie, I think if you haven't seen this one, pal, you'll probably enjoy this one, so keep an eye out for it. And that is a movie called Happy Go Lucky. So it follows this lady, again, I haven't seen this in absolutely years, but from what I remember, it follows this lady who's sort of like always happy, always jolly, and the most memorable part of the whole thing for me is she's trying to learn to drive, and the driving instructor is absolutely fantastic. The guy who plays him, he's on the back there. I know his face, but I can't tell you his name, just in that box there. But yeah, absolutely fantastic. Some absolute quotable lines from it, and it's just such a nice sort of feel-good, happy film. Sort of bit of a darker sort of twist, I think, towards the end, if I remember rightly. But yeah, I really enjoyed this one, and you know, highly quotable. So yeah, I recommend that one. So the next one I picked up from the same charity shop for 50p again was a movie I had on DVD. I don't think it has a Blu-ray release to my knowledge, but it had. It was a big part of my DVD collection when I was first collecting for a couple of reasons. So I grew up in Essex, and I heard that this movie basically had a film crew come down to the town I used to live in, which is this, you know, seaside town that no one ever goes to, and it's like literally a dead end seaside town. No one goes through it. It's just on the end of a coast. And apparently this film crew came in and they did some filming there. So for me, growing up into films and heard that this big film crew from like Britain or America were coming down and basically doing a film and shooting some things in place that I knew when I grew up in, I had to pick this film up straight away. So this is a film called Essex Boys, and yeah, I remember it being pretty good. It's got Sean Bean in it, so he's probably one of the biggest stars, I guess. Tom Wilkinson, I think I recognise as well. But it's about the Range Rover murders or the Land Rover murders, I can never remember. But basically it's based on a true story from what I can remember. A story, yeah, so single true event which left 3 men dead, 2 serving life imprisonment and another living under an assumed identity. But yeah, basically this one I really enjoyed back in the day. It's 98 minutes long. Obviously based on where I came from, the fact that it got some filming done in my hometown. I think it was filmed in some indoor scenes at an old hotel that used to be up there, which I used to go. I didn't actually go to, obviously, but I knew of. So yeah, I was really happy to pick that back up 50p, and I want to get that rewatched to jog my memory of like 20 years ago when I watched it on DVD for the first time. So yeah, if you like your kind of like British gangster thrillers that are kind of, you know, based on true events, I highly recommend trying to find a copy of Essex Boys on the cheap. Okay, so the next ones I picked up here I think are pretty much through eBay. I think most of these next batch are from eBay. So that is a movie I'd seen before. I quite enjoyed it. It's not for everyone. I quite enjoyed it. It's a bit of an odd, dark tale, but this is an import because I think the UK version is, again, fairly pricey, even on the second-hand market through CX. And I found this on a really good deal. I can't remember how much exactly, but I think it was less than a tenner on either eBay or Amazon Marketplace. I can't quite remember. But yeah, there's a film called Sleeping Beauty. Obviously not the Disney one. But from what I can remember, it's a really seedy kind of like dark tale where this girl, essentially on the cover there, I think she's trying to make money or something, and there's these old guys basically that invite these girls to go and stay in this kind of weird place where they spend the night. But the idea is that these girls agree to basically, I think they take some medication that makes them sleep. So they're basically literally sleeping, and then these old weird freaky guys are just like in there with them, and they don't really know what's been going on overnight. It's really odd, really weird, not for everyone, obviously, quite dark. But I watched it years ago and I vaguely remember it being reasonably good. So yeah, I thought I'd pick it back up again. Like I say, not for everyone, but yeah, I feel like it's pretty good and I want to give it a rewatch. So next one is another blast from the past from my DVD collection, and I don't think it has a UK Blu-ray, so this is an import. Again, good cast. I remember it being really good. It's a Tony Scott movie as well, which I've been going through fairly recently. and it's a Robert Redford and Brad Pitt movie called Spy Game. So yeah, I had a really good time with this on DVD back in the day, and I used to watch it a lot. But it's been nearly 20 years probably since I watched it, and I sat down and watched it on a high definition on my projector. And yeah, it's really good still. Kind of a spy thriller type movie. Not masses of action. There is little like sprinkles of action in there, but it's more based on Robert Redford's character is essentially retiring from his sort of like spy life, and he kind of has flashbacks of when he met Brad Pitt, and when Brad Pitt starts becoming, you know, taken in to become trained as a spy. But basically Brad Pitt, this isn't a spoiler really, this bit happens in the first sort of 5-10 minutes of the film. Brad Pitt is essentially trying to break someone out of prison as a spy. He's all dressed up in like medical gear and stuff like that. He goes in as like a fake vaccination person to this like prison abroad, trying to break out someone who they've got in there. And it all goes pear-shaped, and then Robert Redford essentially basically gets wind of this going pear-shaped and tries to help him out before he has to retire. But yeah, it's really good. I enjoyed it, and again, if you like Tony Scott movies, then you'll probably get a kick out of this one, or if you like the cast even, yeah, definitely worth a try. So this next one was it's a horror, sort of a horror, sort of a sci-fi, really, I think, rare or hard to find. I don't know why, but it popped up on eBay, and I'd never seen it or heard of it, but again, the cast sort of like drew me in slightly. So this has got Scott Eastwood, obviously the son of Clint Eastwood, Sarah Paxton, which I think is the daughter of Bill Paxton, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, I saw this pop up on eBay. I think it was about a tenner, maybe just under. I did a little bit of digging into the film. It sounded really interesting. I think this is a film with one of those ones that's got 2 different names, so if it doesn't come up straight away, try you know, having a look under a different name, or looking out for a different name when you type this one in. But this one is called Enter Nowhere. So yeah, the rough premise of this one, it's hard. I don't want to say too much because this is one which it relies on you not knowing quite a lot of the film. I think I've got some post. Post. Yep, it's all movies as well, so this will be in my what will be now, January. It'll be in my January haul, whatever's in here. Anyway, sorry, back to the video. So yeah, Enter Nowhere. So yeah, Enter Nowhere, I won't tell you too much because this one does rely on you not knowing a lot to get the most out of it. But essentially, if I give you the outskirts of it without trying to spoil anything, these people, one by one, they start finding themselves stuck or stranded in this wooded area. Excuse me. And they find this kind of like cabin in the woods. It's not like one of those cabin in the woods type movies, but there happens to be a cabin in the woods. And this girl basically finds a way, sort of like she's broken down or something, I think, and she ends up finding this cabin, and then she bumps into Scott Eastwood, his character. He's also stranded and he's sort of broken down quite recently. And it goes on from there, and then they bump into another character, and it's all strange. They can't seem to get out of this cabin in the woods or the wooded area. Whenever they try and walk anywhere and try and like find somewhere to go to or another road, they end up coming back on themselves and end up back at this cabin. But yeah, I won't say too much more on that. It was okay. It's not the best movie in the world, but it was obviously quite a low budget movie. But yeah, the premise was quite interesting. It was quite unique. I hadn't really seen it done this way before. But yeah, it was a fairly good time. I say I wouldn't pay over the odds for it if you see a copy, but if you can find it somewhere streaming, or if you can get a copy on DVD, I don't know if it's on DVD, I'd say check it out if you're into these sort of like slightly surreal horror movies, bit of a thriller sort of thing. But yeah, enjoyed that one. So the next batch here again were from eBay. So this was one that I hadn't got in the collection. A big Robin Williams fan. I know he does a voice in this movie, and that is Robots. So yeah, I used to watch this one a lot when I was younger. It was £3, so thought I'd throw it in the mix for £3. Another one of the movies that I grew up on as a teen, and a series that I absolutely adored growing up as well. But this is the movie that started it all, and that is Buffy the Vampire Slayer. So this is the US import. To my knowledge, doesn't have a UK Blu-ray. I remember this film always being on sort of like Channel 5 back in the day and watching it, and you know, big campy teen fun basically is all this is, and I had a great time with this, rewatching this again. But yeah, Christy Swanson, obviously Donald Sutherland, who we lost this last year. Just wanted to go back to it, and yeah, I had a really good time watching this again on the projector pulled down on the big screen. Next one was just filling a gap in my sort of Adam Sandler collection. So I do really enjoy Adam Sandler movies for the most part. He's obviously got some duds in there, but this is one I used to enjoy back in the day on DVD. Realised I hadn't got it. So yeah, and that is 50 First Dates. So yeah, kind of like fun, light-hearted comedy about like obviously a girl who's got, I think it's amnesia or a medical condition where she can't remember much, and her boyfriend basically has to try and woo her and you know, get her to remember that they are going out and they love each other and stuff pretty much every day, I think, and he just keeps going on and on. But yeah, Adam Sandler comedies, you either like them or you hate them. I like them, so I picked it up. So then the last one I picked up, I think through eBay this week, so this last month, was another Demi Moore movie which I'd never seen, from the late 90s I want to say, and that is G.I. Jane. I think is it another Tony Scott film? I think it might be. Oh, it's Ridley Scott. I was thinking it was a Tony Scott film when I started, but it was actually Ridley Scott. So yeah, Ridley Scott movie, which I didn't realise. G.I. Jane. I knew of this film. This kind of like cover was iconic in just like video stores and DVD places growing up, but I just never got to it. I don't know why. I absolutely loved this film. I thought it was really good. I didn't have the highest expectations for it. I just thought, I'm going over Demi Moore's back catalogue, I'll check it out. And then when I realised it was a Ridley Scott movie, I was a bit more interested, but I didn't know that until it started coming on. Yeah, really, really good. Obviously, I'm guessing I'm on the back burner here, like the only one that hasn't really seen this in most people watching the video, but I really enjoyed it. This woman who's basically plays I think she starts off as like an intelligence agent in the sort of military, and then they want to basically promote the fact that women can join the Navy or join the Marines, you know, and try and be working alongside the men, which obviously they didn't back then. And they handpick this girl, and it's all political, and it follows her journey through boot camp, and she's like kicking off at the guys about making it the same challenge for her as it is for them, and not sort of playing down because she's a woman. I really had a good time with this film. I can't say much more than that. If you haven't seen this one, highly recommend checking that one out. Now to my pals, Tim and Marcus, over Christmas time or just over December time. Obviously everyone knows Tim and Marcus, sort of like we chat outside of YouTube, and Tim messaged me and said he was going to a CEX nearby. Did I need anything from there? He could pick it up for me. And so I had a quick scroll through the app, and I found one on there that looked really interesting. It was only, I think, £3 or so, so I thought, yeah, you know, I'll send him some money and ask him to pick it up for me. I read up a little bit about it, and it is a movie called, on the 101 label, Sweetie, You Won't Believe It. So now, I'll be honest, it's a 101 movie, which I'm sure a lot of us would look at and think, never heard of it, sounds weird, and it's only, you know, it's not very much money, it might not be that great. I absolutely love this film. I thought it was really, really good. It's a Kazakhstan horror. Now, this is or comedy horror, I should say. This is one of the reasons I wanted to pick it up. Incidentally, Tim didn't take any money in the end for this, so thank you very much, Tim. He passed it on to me, and I tried paying him, and he said, "Oh, think of it as an early Christmas present back at the time." So yeah, thank you very much, pal. But yeah, put this on. Again, low expectations going in, but I'm always happy to check out like a horror movie, especially if it's released by a label like 101 or Arrow, because there must be something about it, whether it's good or bad. Yeah, really funny. I found this hilariously funny. It's just, you need to check it out. If you see it floating around in a CEX when you're around there, pick your copy up if you're into your sort of comedy horror. It's not the most gruesome film in the world, but the comedy in it, I was laughing all the way through it. So yeah, it is subtitled, obviously being a Kazakhstan movie, but it didn't seem to matter. There was not the masses amounts of dialogue in there. Yeah, highly recommend picking this one up if you see it on the cheap somewhere when you're out and about. It reminded me a little bit of Guy Ritchie's Snatch. Now I know not everyone's a big fan of that one, but I know a lot of people are. It's not Trying to think, there were certain scenes in it which reminded me of Snatch. If you would know the film well, you probably pick up on them as well when you watch them. But basically, it's about these kind of like this guy whose wife is pregnant, and he's basically sick and tired of her nagging all the time and like getting onto him. So he tells her he's going off fishing with his mates, and so he gets him and his couple of mates. They go off to the fishing. They get in their boat going around, but basically events happen where this group of like wannabe gangsters are traveling, crossing paths with them, purely coincidental. Something happens which means their paths cross, but then there's another third party involved where there's this guy who's just sort of like out in the outback somewhere, who you don't want to cross. Like he looks like a meme, you know, mother. And all three parties end up getting a bit of a tangled mess, and they're all after each other, and there are people running for survival. The comedy in here is great. You got this I don't know what his name is, but there's this really big guy in here, in one of the gangsters, and anytime anything happens like that's remotely scary or like gory, the guy just passes out. It's just so funny to watch. But yeah, I really enjoyed that one. So also, and then so this one here, these two were sent over by my good pal Marcus. Again, similar story. He went to a CEX, asked me if there's anything I wanted from it. So this one I saw on James Movie Mad's channel. He picked up recently, and I did sort of forewarn him. I had a copy of this that didn't work, so I thought I'd get another copy. Just figured it was the disc maybe. But that is Zack and Miri. Kevin Smith movie. I really love it. It's, you know, really gross out fun comedy from the early or late 2000s. But I think there's a batch issue with these discs. I think there's an issue where they just don't play. I did a bit of digging online, and I know Matt from Matt V's Movies chipped in on the messaging on James's channel when I forewarned James, suggesting to turn off Blu-ray Live. Now I did try turning off Blu-ray Live on the first time I tried this, because that was what had come up on the research I did very quickly on my phone, but it still didn't play. The disc just basically spins and spins. So I've got two copies of this now. I've got one that just spins and then doesn't do anything and says disc error, and then I've got this one which is the one Marcus picked up for me, and it just spins and spins, and eventually on one of my plays it come up as a data disc. I could access the folders on it, but it wouldn't play. So if anyone knows a solution that, you know, maybe doesn't involve turning off Blu-ray Live, because I've tried that already, and I tried turning off the complete internet connection to a player, in case it was trying to update something or link to something that's now a dead server, but it won't play. So if anyone knows a solution for that, help me out, let me know in the comments. And then the other one he picked up for me was a movie, again, I hadn't heard of. It just piqued my interest. I didn't realise that it was an 88 Films movie either when I asked him to pick it up for me. But it is called The Couch Trip, and it's an Orion movie, so that was what piqued my interest. And it also had is it Dan Aykroyd? Yeah. So yeah, I hadn't seen or heard of this one. Again, it was a £5, so obviously I sent Marcus the money over and asked him to pick it up for me. This is one of the ones I haven't actually seen this month from watching yet. I just haven't found the right sort of like frame of mind to get into a comedy, but yeah, that one I'm really interested to check out. So yeah, pick it up, especially if it's an 88 Films label as well. I think that is it. I think that's it. Pretty sure that's it. So the video is nearly half an hour long. I'll try and trim out a few of the you know, errors in there, but yeah, sorry about the length. That is everything I picked up in the month of December. Bit of everything in there as always for me. I like a bit of everything. But yeah, don't forget, go check out those channels. So Jodie, obviously at Jodie's Movie Place, Jodie's Movie Realm. Really sorry, Jodie, I forgot your name. I should have looked at it before I went in. And yeah, so Jodie's into 70s movies, all sorts of other movies as well. I found she's got a really relaxing sort of Irish voice as well. So I listen to it on the car sometimes when I'm driving to work. But yeah, really nice to chill out to. And then obviously got Ollie over at Ollie's Movies. Ollie loves film. And again, I've recommended this man before, but I know this year he's making a real effort on his channel. So, you know, go show him some support if you haven't yet, and check out what he's doing. Really great guy, into lots of movies again. And yeah, I'm sure I'll see you all again next time. Thanks for watching. Cheers, guys. Bye.